My wife humiliated me at her promotion party, calling me a loser in front of my dying father. She thought she'd won. What she didn't know was that I'm an insurance investigator who'd been gathering evidence of her affair for weeks. The next morning, everything changed forever. My name is William Whitman. I'm 52 years old, and I work as an insurance investigator in Phoenix. I've spent 18 years piecing together the truth when people lie to me for a living. Turns out that skill came in handy when my own life fell apart. The night everything changed was supposed to be Veronica's big moment. She'd gotten promoted to senior marketing director and insisted we throw a party at our house. I spent 3 days getting ready, cleaned the pool, hung lights, set up tables. Our kids Owen, 17, and Lily, 15, helped without complaint. "Dad, why does Mom want such a big party?" Lily asked. "Your mother worked hard for this promotion, sweetheart." What I didn't say was that Veronica had been treating me like hired help for months. Late nights, business trips, always finding fault with everything I did. The guests arrived at 7. Veronica's colleagues from the ad agency, all younger and dressed like magazine models. My parents drove down from Flagstaff, Dad with his walker, Mom struggling with arthritis. "William, dear, this is beautiful," Mom said, squeezing my hand. I played the perfect host all evening. Refilled drinks, kept food coming, made small talk with people who looked right through me. Veronica commanded the room with stories about client victories and industry insights. Then came the cake. I'd ordered it special, 3 layers of red velvet with gold lettering reading "Congratulations, Veronica." Cost more than a week's groceries, but I wanted her night to be perfect. Veronica called for attention as I wheeled out the cake. The patio went quiet except for soft jazz from the speakers. She stood beside me in her black cocktail dress, wine glass raised. "Thank you all for being here tonight," she began with that confident business voice. "This promotion means everything to me, and I couldn't have done it without my amazing team." Scattered applause. I smiled, waiting for her to maybe thank me for organizing everything. Instead, she turned to me with a smile that made my stomach drop. "And of course, I have to thank my devoted husband, William," she said, voice dripping with something cold. "Always there, always predictable, always ready to serve." The crowd chuckled nervously. Veronica picked up the cake knife and cut the first slice with theatrical precision. She placed it on a plate and held it out to me. "Here's your cake, loser," she announced loud enough for everyone to hear. "At least you're good for something." Dead silence. Every eye on us. Some people looked away in embarrassment. Others stared in shock. My parents sat frozen, Dad's hand trembling on his walker, Mom's face white with horror. I took the plate with steady hands, nodded once, and set it down without a word. The party died after that. People whispered in corners, made excuses, left early. I kept cleaning up, playing the devoted husband who'd just been publicly destroyed. But inside, something had shifted. The man who uncovered lies for a living had finally seen his own life clearly. And what I saw was a marriage that had been dead longer than I'd wanted to admit. That night, lying next to Veronica's satisfied breathing, I made a decision. If she wanted to play games, I'd play by my rules. After all, I was very good at investigations. The morning after the party, I woke up before dawn. Old habit from my investigating days. Start early, think clear. Veronica was still asleep, probably dreaming about her next career move. I made coffee and sat at the kitchen table, staring at the mess left from the night before. Owen walked in around 7, grabbing juice from the fridge. My son had always been observant, took after me in that way. "Dad, what Mom said last night?" He started, then stopped. "What about it, son?" Owen sat down across from me. "That wasn't cool." Lily cried herself to sleep. My jaw tightened. Humiliating me was one thing. Hurting my kids was another. Your mother was excited about her promotion. Sometimes people say things they don't mean. Owen gave me a look that said he wasn't buying it. Smart kid. After he left for school, I did what I do best. I started investigating. Not officially, just quietly observing patterns I'd been ignoring for months. First stop, our home office. Veronica's laptop was password protected now. Something new. Her phone stayed face down during dinner. She'd started taking calls in the garage, claiming better reception. I checked our wireless router logs. Something most people don't know you can do. Data usage spiked during her supposed late nights at the office. Video calls, file transfers, social media activity. All time-stamped when she claimed to be in client meetings. Then I found the credit card statements I wasn't supposed to see. Charges at restaurants I'd never been to. On dates when she said she was working late. Hotel bookings for business trips that lasted one day but showed 2-night stays. The most interesting discovery came from our family cloud storage. Veronica thought she was tech-savvy, but she'd forgotten about automatic photo backup from her old phone. The device was sitting in our junk drawer, still syncing to her account. I scrolled through months of images. Office parties where she looked different, happier, more relaxed. Photos with her marketing team, including a guy named Bradley Whitaker from the graphics department. Young, probably mid-40s, with that artistic look women seem to find attractive. In the newer photos, Bradley appeared more frequently, standing closer to Veronica, his hand on her shoulder, her laughing at something he'd said. Then came the images that made my coffee go cold. A weekend trip to Sedona. Veronica had told me it was a women's leadership retreat, but there was Bradley, sharing a bottle of wine with her at a restaurant. Another photo showed them hiking together, his arm around her waist. The final image was taken from what looked like a hotel balcony, Veronica in a sundress, Bradley behind her with his arms wrapped around her. I saved everything to an encrypted drive, organized by date and location. 23 years of marriage had taught me to document everything carefully. My phone buzzed with a text from Veronica. Working late again tonight. Don't wait up. I looked at the timestamp. 10:30 a.m. According to the credit card statement, she'd made the same excuse 3 times this week. Each time coincided with charges at the same upscale restaurant downtown. I closed the laptop and walked to our bedroom. Veronica's side of the closet had new clothes, expensive pieces I'd never seen her wear at home. Lingerie that wasn't meant for a husband of 23 years. The woman who'd call me a loser in front of my parents was living a double life. But she'd made one crucial mistake. She'd underestimated the man who made a living uncovering deception. I sat on the edge of our bed, surrounded by evidence of her betrayal, and felt something I hadn't experienced in years. Relief. Now I knew exactly what I was dealing with. 3 days of surveillance gave me everything I needed. Veronica thought she was clever, but she'd forgotten she married an investigator. Tuesday night, she claimed another late meeting. I followed her to Romano's downtown, watched through the window as she shared wine with Bradley. They held hands across the table like teenagers. When he kissed her in the parking lot, I got photos with my telephoto lens. Thursday's client dinner was actually the Marriott on 5th Street. I waited in the lobby, documented their arrival at 6:30, departure at 11:45. For hours for a business meeting seemed excessive. Back home, I organized everything methodically. Digital files, printed photos, credit card receipts, timeline spreadsheets. 23 years of marriage reduced to evidence folders. Dad, you're working late again, Lily said, finding me in the office at midnight. Just catching up on some cases, sweetheart. She studied my face with those sharp 15-year-old eyes. Mom's been different lately. Mean. What do you mean? Lily sat in the chair across from my desk. She used to ask about school and my friends. Now she just complains about everything. Like we're bothering her. My jaw clenched. Has she said anything specific? Last week she told Owen he was lazy like his father. Made him cry. That sealed it. Humiliating me was painful. Attacking my kids was unforgivable. Friday morning, I called my attorney, David Ross. We'd handled insurance cases together for years. William, what can I do for you? I need a divorce lawyer, David. The best one you know. Sorry to hear that. What are we dealing with? Adultery, financial deception, possibly more. I have evidence. David was quiet for a moment. Margaret Collins is who you want. Tough as nails. Handles high-conflict cases. I'll call her today. That afternoon, Margaret called me personally. Sharp voice, no nonsense. David says you have a situation that needs immediate attention. My wife's having an affair with a coworker. She's using our money to fund it. And she's become verbally abusive toward our children. How much evidence do you have? Photos, financial records, timeline documentation. I'm an insurance investigator, so I know how to build a case. Margaret laughed grimly. Good. Most men come to me with feelings and suspicions. You're bringing facts. Can you meet tomorrow? Absolutely. That evening, Veronica announced another late night. I didn't follow her this time. Instead, I spent 3 hours with Margaret reviewing everything I collected. This is excellent work, William, she said, studying the photos. Your wife's been careless. The financial records show clear misuse of marital assets. What's our next move? We document everything legally, file for divorce citing adultery, and request temporary custody of the children pending investigation of her treatment toward them. How long will this take? Margaret smiled coldly. With evidence this solid, your wife won't know what hit her. Saturday morning, I implemented phase 2. While Veronica slept in, recovering from another business dinner, I drove to my parents' house in Flagstaff. Son, you look terrible, Mom said, opening the door. I need to tell you both something important. We sat in their living room, Dad's walker beside his chair, Mom's worried face studying mine. Veronica's been having an affair, I said simply. For months. The promotion party was just the beginning. Dad's hand trembled on his knee. I'm sorry, William. That woman never deserved you. The children, Mom whispered. Owen and Lily. That's why I'm here. This is going to get ugly, and I need them somewhere safe when it happens. I explained my plan. Margaret would file papers Monday morning. Veronica would be served at work. Maximum embarrassment. I'd pick up the kids from school, bring them here until the initial storm passed. Of course, Mom said immediately. They can stay as long as needed. Sunday evening, I sat both kids down in the living room. Time for honesty. I need to tell you something important about your mother and me. Owen straightened up. Lily grabbed my hand. We're getting divorced. Your mother's been seeing someone else from her work. Lily started crying. Owen's face hardened with anger. I knew something was wrong. Owen said. She's been so mean lately. Where will we live? Lily asked through tears. With me. But tomorrow, I'm taking you to Grandma and Grandpa's for a few days while lawyers handle the paperwork. Why can't we stay here? Owen asked. Because your mother's going to be very angry when she finds out I know about Bradley. Owen's eyes widened. You know his name? I know everything, son. I've been investigating for weeks. Monday morning, I drove the kids to school, then called in sick to work. By 10 a.m., I was parked outside Veronica's office building, waiting. My phone rang at 10:47. William, it's Margaret. She's been served. Security called me. Apparently she screamed the process server and threw papers across the lobby. Perfect. She'll be calling you soon. Don't answer. Let her panic. I drove to the kids' schools, signed them out for family emergency, and headed north to Flagstaff. By the time Veronica discovered they were gone, we'd be safely in my parents' house. My phone started buzzing with calls and texts around noon. I ignored them all. Phase 1 complete. Now Veronica would learn what happens when you underestimate a man who'd spent his career uncovering the truth. My phone buzzed constantly during the drive to Flagstaff. 47 missed calls from Veronica by the time we reached my parents' house. I finally answered on call 48. William, what the hell is this? Veronica's voice was shrill, panicked. Some lawyer served me papers at work. In front of my entire team. Hello, Veronica. How was your meeting with Bradley last night? Dead silence. Then, I don't know what you're talking about. Romano's restaurant. Table by the window. You ordered the salmon. You had the steak. You held hands during dessert. You're insane. I was working late. Hotel charges on our credit card say otherwise. Should I read them to you? Another pause. When she spoke again, her voice was different. Calculating. Where are my children, William? Our children are safe. Somewhere you can't use them as weapons. You can't take them from me. I'm their mother. A mother who called their father a loser in public. Who told Owen he was lazy like me. Who made Lily cry because you're too busy with your boyfriend to care about their lives. You don't understand the pressure I'm under. I understand perfectly. You're having an affair with Bradley Whitaker from Graphics. You've been using our money to finance hotel rooms and romantic dinners. You've been emotionally abusing our children. Veronica's breathing became rapid. I want my kids back. Now, talk to your lawyer. Oh wait, you'll need to hire one first. I hung up and powered off the phone. Mom had prepared lunch for Owen and Lily. They sat quietly, processing everything that had happened. Dad, will Mom try to take us away? Lily asked. She'll try, but I have proof of what she's been doing. The court will see the truth. Owen looked up from his sandwich. Good. I'm tired of walking on eggshells around her. That evening, Margaret called on my parents' landline. William, your wife's retained Theodore Strickland. Expensive lawyer, known for aggressive tactics. What's that mean for us? It means she's planning to fight dirty. Strickland specializes in high-conflict divorces. He'll try to paint you as an unstable husband who kidnapped the children. Can he do that? He can try, but we have the evidence. More importantly, I got a call from Veronica's HR department. Apparently, her affair with Bradley violates company policy. They're launching an internal investigation. I smile grimly. How do they find out? Anonymous tip. Someone sent them the same photos you showed me. I hadn't sent anything to her company, but I had a suspicion who did. Sometimes justice finds its own way. What's our next move? Emergency custody hearing Thursday. Be ready to testify about her treatment of the children. And William, your wife called you 17 more times after you hung up. She's desperate. Good. Desperate people make mistakes. Wednesday morning brought a surprise visitor. Theodore Strickland stood on my parents' doorstep, silver-haired and expensive-suited. Mr. Whitman, I represent your wife. We need to discuss returning the children immediately. The children are exactly where they should be, safe from their mother's emotional abuse. Strickland's smile was cold. Emotional abuse is a serious accusation. I hope you can prove it. I can. Witnesses, recordings, documented incidents. Your client's been too busy with her boyfriend to notice the damage she's causing. Alleged boyfriend. Mrs. Whitman denies any impropriety. I pulled out my phone, showed him a photo of Veronica and Bradley kissing in the restaurant parking lot. She can deny gravity too. Doesn't make it less real. Strickland studied the photo, his expression unchanged. One photograph proves nothing. Could be taken out of context. I have 47 more, plus credit card records, hotel receipts, and timeline documentation. Your client's been sloppy. For the first time, Strickland looked uncertain. My client is willing to discuss reconciliation, perhaps counseling. Your client publicly humiliated me in front of my parents and our children. Then she emotionally abused those same children while carrying on an affair. There's nothing to reconcile. The children belong with their mother. The children belong somewhere safe. That's not with Veronica. After Strickland left, I called Margaret. He came to intimidate you, she said. Means they're worried. How do the kids react? They didn't see him. I handled it outside. Good. I have news about Veronica's job situation. HR finished their preliminary investigation. Bradley's been terminated immediately. Veronica's on administrative leave, pending further review. She'll blame me for that too. Let her. It shows a pattern of poor judgment that benefits our custody case. That afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. William, it's me. Veronica's voice was different now. Smaller, desperate. How did you get this number? I called your work. William, I need help. They fired Bradley. They're investigating me. My career is ruined. You ruined your own career, along with our marriage. Please, I made mistakes, but I love you. I love our family. We can fix this. You call me a loser in front of 50 people, Veronica. You mocked me in front of my dying father. You can't fix that. I was drunk, excited about the promotion. I didn't mean it. You rehearsed it. Ruby heard you practicing in the car. Silence. Then, the children need their mother. The children need stability. Something you can't provide while you're busy destroying lives. I'll do anything, William. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want. What I want is for you to sign the divorce papers and agree to supervise visitation. Your affair partner's already gone. Your job's in jeopardy. Don't lose your children too. I can't lose them. They're all I have left. You should have thought of that before you chose Bradley over your family. I hung up. Tomorrow's custody hearing would determine the children's immediate future. But tonight, they were safe, eating my mother's cooking and doing homework at the kitchen table. Sometimes that's all a father can ask for. Thursday morning's custody hearing felt like stepping in a battle. Margaret sat beside me, evidence folders organized perfectly. Across the courtroom, Veronica whispered frantically with Theodore Strickland, desperation visible despite her designer suit. Judge Patricia Manning entered, stern and no nonsense. Emergency custody hearing for Owen and Lily Whitman, she announced. Mr. Strickland, your client claims unlawful removal. Strickland stood confidently. Your Honor, my client found her children missing without justification. Objection, Margaret said calmly. Mr. Whitman removed children from emotional abuse. We have documentation. Strickland called Veronica first. She played the devastated mother perfectly. I love them deeply, Your Honor. Work hard to provide for our family. Finding them gone was devastating. Has your husband threatened to take the children before? He's become unstable since my promotion. Jealous, possessive, controlling. Margaret cross-examined ruthlessly. Mrs. Whitman, March 15th. What did you tell Owen about his grades? I don't recall specifics. You called him lazy like his father. Made him cry. Remember now? Margaret presented audio evidence. My phone had recorded dinner that night. Veronica's voice filled the courtroom. You're just like your pathetic father, Owen. No ambition. Should have expected better from a loser son. Judge Manning's expression hardened. Veronica went pale. Margaret continued with credit card evidence. Romano's Restaurant, March 20th. Marriott Hotel, March 22nd. Explain these charges during supposed work meetings. Business expenses. Yet you told your husband you were working late at the office. Lying to him or defrauding your employer. Photos followed. Veronica with Bradley at restaurants, hotels, romantic getaways. A timeline of systematic deception. When I testified, I presented everything methodically. Financial records, witness statements from neighbors who'd heard her screaming at the children, teacher reports about behavioral changes. What outcome do you seek, Mr. Whitman? Judge Manning asked. Temporary custody, Your Honor. Supervised visitation until she proves she can prioritize their well-being. Judge Manning studied evidence for 20 minutes. Based on substantial evidence of emotional abuse and parental misconduct, I award temporary custody to Mr. Whitman. Mrs. Whitman gets supervised visitation twice weekly, pending counseling completion. Veronica collapsed crying. Strickland looked stunned. Outside, Margaret smiled grimly. Your documentation made this easy. I called my parents immediately. We won. Kids come home this weekend. For the first time in months, I could breathe. Friday brought Margaret's unexpected call. Veronica wants settlement talks. Joint custody instead of supervised visitation if you accept divorce terms. No deal. She lost that privilege when she chose Bradley over motherhood. Strickland hinted she has damaging information about your job. Could be bluffing. That afternoon proved Margaret right. Veronica called directly. William, we need to meet. I have information about your position at Phoenix Mutual. We communicate through lawyers. This concerns the Henderson case. Meet me at Copper Creek Park. 1 hour. Against better judgment, I agreed. Veronica sat alone at a picnic table, looking smaller than ever. Dark circles, wrinkled clothes, confidence completely gone. Thank you for coming. Say what you need to say. I made terrible mistakes. The affair, cruel words, how I treated you and the kids. I was drowning and made destructive choices. Is this supposed to be an apology? She pulled out her phone. The Henderson insurance case. I know you falsified evidence. Backdated statements, manipulated timestamps. That's a lie. I have proof. Emails you deleted, original files with metadata, correspondence about covering timeline issues. She showed me email threads that looked damning despite being taken out of context. Phoenix Mutual's board would find this interesting. Your career would be over. What do you want? Joint custody. Equal parenting time. No supervision. I studied her desperate face. This was her final card. Veronica, even if you could destroy my career, I won't let you hurt our children anymore. You're calling my bluff. I'm calling you a liar and terrible mother. Send whatever you want to my employer. Her face crumpled. Please, William. I can't lose them completely. You lost them when you chose Bradley. When you called me a loser in front of my dying father. When your affair became more important than their well-being. I stood to leave. William, please. I'm begging you. Beg your lawyer. Driving home, Margaret called with news. Veronica was terminated today. Ethics violations regarding Bradley. Good. Bradley filed a complaint claiming she threatened his career when he tried ending things. Your wife has a blackmail pattern. She just tried it with me. What did you tell her? To go to hell. Margaret laughed. Good man. 3 months later, life had settled into a rhythm I'd forgotten was possible. Owen and Lily thrived in their new routine, no longer walking on eggshells or bracing for verbal attacks. Our house felt peaceful again. Dad, Coach Williams wants to know if you can help with the baseball fundraiser. Owen said over breakfast. He'd made varsity junior year, something Veronica had dismissed as unimportant. Of course. What do they need? Someone to organize the silent auction. Said you're good with details. I smiled. Being recognized for competence instead of mocked for it felt revolutionary. Lily looked up from her homework, and Mrs. Patterson asked if you'd chaperone the science fair field trip. I told her you're the best dad ever. These moments reminded me why the fight had been worth it. The divorce finalized in August. Veronica's attempts to overturn the custody arrangement failed spectacularly when Bradley testified about her manipulative behavior during their affair. Apparently, she'd promised to leave me for him, then blamed him when her career imploded. Margaret had been brilliant throughout. Veronica destroyed her own credibility, she'd explained after the final hearing. The judge saw exactly who she really was. Veronica's supervised visits became increasingly infrequent. The kids found excuses not to go, and she eventually stopped scheduling them. Last I heard, she'd moved to California, claiming Arizona held too many bad memories. My job at Phoenix Mutual had survived her blackmail attempt. When she'd actually sent her fabricated evidence to HR, their investigation quickly revealed her lies. The company's IT department traced the manipulated documents back to her personal accounts. Mr. Whitman, my supervisor, had said, "We're sorry your personal situation affected your work environment. Your integrity has never been questioned here." The promotion they offer me came with a 20% salary increase and the option to work remotely twice a week. Perfect for a single father managing school schedules and activities. Owen joined me in the garage Saturday morning, helping organize tools I neglected during the chaos. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Always, son." "Do you miss Mom?" "Even after everything she did?" I considered the question carefully. "I miss the woman I thought she was. The mother you deserved. But that person might never have existed." "I don't miss her," Owen said quietly. "Is that bad?" "It's honest. You can love someone and still recognize they're toxic. Protecting yourself isn't wrong." We worked in comfortable silence, father and son rebuilding more than just garage organization. That evening, Lily curled up beside me on the couch during movie night, something she hadn't done in years when Veronica lived here. "Dad, are you happy now?" "Very happy, sweetheart." "Are you?" "The happiest I've been since I was little. Before Mom got mean." I kissed the top of her head, grateful for second chances and the courage to fight for what mattered most. My phone buzzed with a text from Margaret. "Saw the Phoenix Business Journal article about your promotion. Well deserved. How are the kids?" I typed back, "Thriving. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being brave enough to put them first. Some victories are worth every battle scar." 8 months after the promotion party that changed everything, I stood in my new office overlooking downtown Phoenix. Senior claims director at Phoenix Mutual, leading a team of 12 investigators, building the fraud detection department I'd always envisioned. "Mr. Whitman, there's someone here to see you," my assistant announced. I turned from the window to find a familiar face. Bradley Whitaker stood in my doorway, looking nervous and considerably older than when I'd last seen him in surveillance photos. "Mr. Whitman, could I speak with you privately?" I nodded to my assistant, who closed the door behind her. "What can I do for you, Bradley?" He sat heavily in the chair across from my desk. "I wanted to apologize. For the affair, for what happened to your family, for my part in destroying everything." "Why now?" "Because I finally understand what she did to all of us." Veronica is engaged to some lawyer in Los Angeles. Third engagement since the divorce, apparently. She called me last week, wanting to reconnect as friends. I leaned back in my chair, and she asked if I missed our time together. Said she'd made a mistake choosing career over love. When I told her I was married now, happily, she lost it completely. "How so?" Screamed that I'd ruined her life, that she'd sacrificed everything for me, that I owed her. Then she threatened to tell my wife about our affair if I didn't give her money. I wasn't surprised. Same pattern she tried with me. The thing is, my wife already knew. I told her everything before we got married. Veronica's threats were empty. Bradley pulled out his phone, showed me a screenshot of text messages. Veronica demanding $10,000, threatening exposure, becoming increasingly unhinged when he refused. "She's broke, Mr. Whitman. Living in some studio apartment, working retail. The lawyer she's engaged to doesn't know about her past, apparently." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because she's planning something. Asked detailed questions about your job, your house, the kids. Said she wasn't done with the Whitman family." A chill ran down my spine. "What kind of questions?" "Owen's baseball schedule. Lily's school activities. When you work late. She's been following your social media, through fake accounts. I made a note to call security immediately. Bradley, I appreciate the warning. There's more. She showed me photos she'd taken outside your house. Recent ones. She's been watching your family. That afternoon, I met with Phoenix PD and hired a private security firm. Restraining order filed. House security upgraded. Kids' schools notified. Veronica's obsession had crossed into stalking territory. Margaret wasn't surprised when I called her. Narcissists often escalate when they lose control. Good thing Bradley warned you. Think she'll actually try something? She's desperate, broke, and her new relationship is built on lies. That's a dangerous combination. 2 weeks later, Veronica was arrested outside Lily's school. Security cameras caught her following my daughter, taking photos, approaching other students with questions about her family. The stalking charges, combined with her violation of the restraining order, earned her 6 months in county jail and a permanent prohibition from contacting us. Dad, is it really over? Lily asked after the sentencing. It's over, sweetheart. She can't hurt us anymore. That evening, I called my parents with the news. Dad's voice was weak, but proud. You protected your children, William. That's what real men do. Owen graduated valedictorian that spring. Lily made honor roll every semester. Both kids flourished without their mother's toxic presence, poisoning their lives. At Owen's graduation, I sat with my parents, watching my son accept scholarships to 3 different universities. She's really missing out, Mom whispered, squeezing my hand. Her choice, I whispered back. Her loss. Some stories end with justice. Others end with peace. The best ones end with both. Standing ovation for my son, surrounded by people who actually loved him, I realized something profound. Veronica hadn't just lost a family when she chose her affair over U.S. She'd lost the chance to witness the extraordinary people her children were becoming. That was a consequence she'd live with forever.